Wait till everyone to pop up. There we go. All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to part 2 of Pushing Forward Natural Hair and the Crown Act. My name is Reagan, and I am one of your lovely hosts for this evening. Now, before I get further into introductions, I just want to discuss some house rules. If you were here for part 1, you're familiar with them. So we're just going to go over them again for the new people. So number 1, be respectful. This is a sensitive topic. And just keep that in mind in the chat room and in comments to everyone. Number 2, Q&A or question and answers will be the last 15 to 20 minutes of the webinar. We have my girl back again, Jasmine. She's actually here. She will be monitoring all questions. In the last 15 to 20 minutes, she'll be sending us your questions for us to answer. Number 3, if you attend all 3 webinars, this is the second one, so you attend all 3, you'll be entered into the raffle to win some Eden Bodywork products to help you on your natural hair journey. Marissa, just remind them, what we got for them again.
Yes, so with Eden, we have their almond and marshmallow line. We have the hydration serum and the therapy leave-in conditioner. So for some great lightweight hydration, we also have the Eden Bodyworks Hibiscus and Honey line. This is the Curl Hydration Conditioner, and the shampoo is wrapped up in bubble wrap, so I can't show you everything. There is also a deep conditioning repair mask by the almond and marshmallow line, as well as the coconut and shea edge control cream as well. So all the good goods for your hair to keep it nice and healthy.
Quality. Quality things here, people. And number 4, just remember to have fun. So first, let's see who's here. Drop your name, your state, so we can see where you all are, and see how close you are to us, possibly.
Yes, let us know who's in the webinar building. Okay, I see we have Lanisha Thomas. She said, hi, everyone. Of course, we have Jasmine in the building as well. We have Tamika.
Yeah, that's my mom, y'all.
Oh, hey, Reagan's mom. Hey, Tamika.
Rockville. We got Jasmine from Atlanta. Alexis, hey, Alexis. Michael Richards from Brooklyn, hey.
Hey, Michael. Lanisha, I see you.
Scarlett from Philadelphia, all right. Philly in the house.
Hey, Scarlett, nice to see you.
Danny from New Jersey, welcome, Danny.
Wait, did we say Lanisha? She's from Chicago.
Yeah, Lanisha.
Really from Atlanta, yes.
From the Chi-Town.
Thank you for joining.
All right, I'm going to get right into introductions. So I'm going to start out. My name is Reagan Campbell. I am a corporate business stylist located in Philadelphia, PA. A corporate business stylist is a fancy name for someone who dresses for women, in work, events outside of work. My service focuses on advancing Black women within corporate America through style. Next, I'm going to pass my mic on to my lovely co-host this way, Marissa.
Hey, everybody. My name is Marissa. I'm also located here in Philly. I am a natural hair professional. I like to call myself the Philly curly hair and texture nerd, loving all things kinks, coils, and anything to help empower and uplift other women. Just also helping to guide them how to care for their hair and just understanding how to be able to care for it at home as well as in the salon as well. I've also done some freelance writing for Ebony Magazine and Texture Magazine. And had the honor of busting it up with a few wonderful ladies like Tiana Paris and Nicole Ari Parker. So just trying to liberate and spread the joy of hair care wherever I can.
Now I'm going to take the honor and introduce our special guest from New York today, Andrea L. Granville MBA. She let me know you do not drop the L or the MBA. She is a foodie.
They were both earned. So absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you guys are doing fabulous. First, I hope you and your families all are safe. As she said, Andrea L. Granville, NBA is really, usually just for business purposes, but I am I'm an HR executive leadership strategist. So I just call myself a management consulting because that's basically what my business encompass. My business is Pearls and Fabulous Lifestyle Studio. I love pearls. You'll see every day I have some sort of pearl on, and fabulous. You'll hear me use that term a lot. If I say it, I mean it. So you can definitely just go to my website and check everything out. But I am just so happy to be here with you guys today. For one, I really got to put some clothes on outside of like my normal house, just t-shirt or so. And as I said, I'm really loving, the head wraps and the natural thing now. So it just worked out
perfect. And then before we get started, we're going to go ahead and start with our first exercise. If you were here for part one, you're familiar with it. So it is I love my crown because, and we're just going to go around and discuss why we love our crowns. And we would love for you all to also answer why you love your crown within the chat. So my answer really hasn't changed from the first one. So I love my crown because it is versatile. That is the number one thing that I honestly really enjoy about my hair. I'm one of those people who tend to change it every month. COVID has interrupted that, but I'm always that person to come into the office with a different hairstyle. Anyone wants to go next?
Well, I just love my crown because, as you said, it's versatile. Because one day you can see me with a mohawk, next week you can see me with, a protective style where, whether it's braids or some sort of weave with some sort of length, I can do what I want with it. That's what's so special about, our crowns.
Mhm. Okay, and I'll go ahead. I love my crown because, and I feel like it's a similar answer to the last time, because it has helped me to have a better understanding of who I am. And it's a great way for me to express my style. Just like when you put on an outfit, you can switch it up to whatever style you want it to be. The same thing for your hair. If you want to be edgy, if you want to be chill and low key, it can go either or. So that's always the fun part about my hair as well.
Yeah. And before we really get into things, I just want to tell people you're going to see me going in and out. It's where I'm located in my room. I the sun just keeps coming up and down, and this is like the best spot for the Wi-Fi. So you'll see me come and go. When you see me, I'll look fabulous, but then I'll go dark. But just know that I'm still here. It's because of the sun and the lighting. Typically, it would be shining down on me, but it's just in and out.
Shining down. That's great. Yep.
Yes, thanks for letting us know that.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Marissa.
All right, so let's head on. Oh, we can head over to the comments now to see if anybody else has any input. Jasmine said, I love my crown because it is unique to me and only me. All right. And Tamika said, I love my crown because it's creative. And Jasmine also said, you do look fabulous. That was Andrea. Yes. We see you in the sun right now. We see you, girl.
Like I said, it was like the first time in 3 months that I really sort of, got to put myself together, because I've really been like I said, I've been loving, get in touch with like your natural side during this quarantine, because after this, as I said, I'm definitely going natural. Under this wrap is nothing but natural hair. And once I learn how to maintain it, it's a wrap for you guys, because I am just going to be like so fabulous.
That's
you ain't going to be able to tell me a thing.
Nope. That's all right.
But until then, it's the wrap. So
okay. Oh, we have one more comment that came in from Lanisha Thomas. I love my crown because it's simple. And that seems like everybody.
That is so Lanisha. Hugs.
Well, we also thank everybody for sharing their input. And we just want to go ahead and start and talk more about what the Crown Act is. And it's actually an acronym that stands for Creating a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair. And it's a law that prohibits discrimination based on hairstyle and hair texture. So we're talking about braids, cornrows, locks, twists, any of your protective styles that requires the extensions like crochet braids and your faux locks, anything of that sort. All of these styles are also encompassed into this act. So California Senator Holly J. Mitchell is the first to introduce and name the bill in January of 2019. The Crown Act expanded the definition of race in the Fair Employment and Housing Act, also stands for FEA, and education code to ensure protection in workplaces and in
Mhm.
K-12 public and charter schools. New York became the second state to enact the Crown Act into law, with Governor Cuomo signing the act in law on July 12th, 2019, deeming the legislation
Yes, yes,
effective
yes.
immediately.
I think prior to this, we knew that New York was one of the, first round of states to sign it, but it being second is really big, really big.
New York is such a diverse state. In New York City, you this is, to me, one of the natural hair capitals of the world. You can go in certain parts of Brooklyn, all you
Mhm.
see is like natural hair. On one side of the street, it could be salons of, that just focus on natural hair, and the other side, is doing the other thing. So it's
Yeah.
it's to me, it's New York. But we have our weaves and
Yep.
stuff too. But
Mm-hmm.
All
Yep,
right, so
yep.
I'm going to go ahead and head into our first question for Andrea today. Can you explain how much experience or how many years you've been in HR and what the purpose of the HR department is?
Okay, I've actually been practicing
Mhm.
HR for 20 years, but I have 30 plus years of leadership and business experience. So that says, put my
Okay.
age out there, over 30 years. And the purpose of a HR department, they're there, one, to, for talent acquisition. That's to, recruit the right people and retain them, making sure that the employee and benefits are administered properly, performance management, employee relations, employee engagement, and of course, compliance. But, HR roles, depending on the organization, big or small, you know, the task can vary because in today's economy, a lot of HR departments have taken on additional responsibilities depending on, as I said, the nature of
Mhm.
the business and how large it is. So, but that's primarily what HR people do. They're there for, to make sure that the employees have what they need. Most people think an HR department is there for the employer, and that's not right. That's not right. They're not there for the employer or the employee in certain situations. They're there to do what's right. So, and a good HR person, and I can tell you, I am a fabulous HR person. I do what's right. If I don't feel comfortable with something, it's not that I've, you know, turned down doing many things. If it doesn't feel like ethical to me, I'm not going to do it. And any HR person is that way.
Yes.
So, a real HR person. So, but those are primarily the functions of an HR in
Okay.
my experience.
That's actually eye-opening for me. It sounds like it's more so of like a neutral role. It's kind of like you're trying to make sure that things are ethical for like everybody, and not just for the employees and the employer, but it's kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
look, we need to make sure
Yeah,
everybody's good.
that's actually one of the things. One of my mentors was actually an employment attorney. And she said to me, even though you work for the organization and the organization is paying you, you have an obligation to not just the organization, but to the employees. So you have to do what's right. And that's something that I've always done. I'm not afraid to, make tough decisions. I'm not afraid to push back on management for funds for employees
Yeah.
because that's what you're there for. You're an advocate. Basically, that's what the human resource department, you're an advocate for the organization as well as for the employees.
That's a good point. Oh, we
Mhm.
got some good comments coming in. So Venetia said, yes, Andrea was my HR director for years. Awesome. Ooh, yes. We love the enthusiasm. And Tamika, integrity has to be built in an HR position.
Absolutely. If you can't lay your head down at night, because HR people, they have to make some really tough decisions. And a year ago is when I, officially started my own business. And prior to that, in my whole career, I know how many people I've turned over my whole career because, there are certain aspects of an HR director. It's not, everything is not always easy, and some things you just remember. And I know exactly how many people I've turned throughout my 20-year history. And
Wow.
it's just, certain things just sort of stay with you. But you have to be ethical, but you also have to be humane, show, like empathy to your employees and to your employer, but you have to remain true to yourself because, as I said, I have to lay my head down at night and be comfortable with the
Right.
decisions that I make.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all perfect points. So Andrea, can you give an example of the type of companies that you've worked with, if they were large or if they were small or
I've
both?
actually worked for both. The largest, biggest company that I work for of name recognition is Macy's. And that's where I got my leadership experience. After leaving Macy's, I worked private college for 12 years. That's where, I met Lineage as the director of HR. And it's honestly, there's really no difference. It's because they're both HR in a big company and a small company. There's still some compliance and laws that everyone has to follow. So, but you just probably get more experience in one than other. Like me, like I said, I learned about leadership at Macy's. I worked at Macy's corporate, Macy's Herald Square, world famous for so many things, and working in a corporate office there. That's when I first learned about mentoring. That's where I got my first official mentor when one of the executives, she actually to me, but she said, you just need to have someone, show you how to not say everything that you feel. So I've learned the artsmith of being a wordsmith to, you know, but you don't have to say everything. But if I do have to say something, I know how to say it very eloquently. So, but that came from mentoring and leadership. These are things that I learned, and those are some of the qualities that when I'm working with people now. It's you can have a voice. It's how you use your voice. I can say one
Echoing a
a
little.
tone or cadence, and depending on the frame of reference, it can sound different. So, but yes,
Can you hear me, Andrea?
yes. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you were echoing a little. Yeah, you were echoing a little bit.
Okay, so I'll sort of hold this there
Good
because I
now.
don't want y'all to miss a word I'm saying. So I'll hold it just like this.
Hold on, it's echoing again. Oh wait, Jasmine, she's texting me. Is it good now, Jasmine? Yes. Okay,
Okay.
we're good. We're good.
Okay, so I'm just going to stay like this.
All right. And we had another question that came in. As an HR professional,
With
this is from
smaller
Tamika.
companies,
Do you
you'll be
feel it's
able to
easier
get
to
more
work with smaller
experience.
companies?
As I said, after leaving Macy's, I went to a small college, and I stayed there for 12 years. And in those 12 years, like I came in as an assistant director, then I was able to be promoted to associate director and then director. So you do have more opportunities because because you have to multitask more. There's more for you to do. And if you're ambitious, like I am, to be the whole purpose of any job or any position is to move forward and growth. So absolutely, definitely get the experience that you need. And then because from that experience, that's why I knew like I'm able to run my own business now because you take on so many roles in a small organization. So absolutely.
Perfect, perfect. Okay. That kind of gets into our next question.
Personally,
Have you
no,
had a
because at
situation where
Macy's,
you or an
their
employee faced hair
policies
discrimination
were,
directly?
decent. You just had to basically just look professional. And one of the first things that I, did when I left Macy's and I went to the institution was the first thing I worked on was the employee handbook. And that's something that people don't realize, outside of us taking all of our time to put it together and it not being read. But typically everything,
Mm.
most of what you need to know be found in the employee handbook. To most questions that you have. So yeah.
Hmm. Okay. I know in the part one that we had, I kind of went into my personal experience at a job when it came to me always switching up my hair. It really wasn't anything direct that people would say you shouldn't do it, or it's something that is against company policy. It was more so I became
Oh,
um, the token person, the token black person to answer all questions pertaining to black people because I was the only black woman there. And then it became almost like a zoo. I was like an animal in the zoo where people would like come past my cubicle just to see what my hair looked like. And it just became very intrusive. And honestly, because it wasn't, anything direct, or because it wasn't anyone telling me I couldn't come to work that day,
there's
honestly did not know
to
how to
go to in
even
any organization. And I tell
approach
people all
the
the time,
situation.
if your
So
employee
what
handbook,
I
as
don't
I
know, I
said,
guess
everything
what
that you need
advice
to
would you
know
give in a
regarding
situation like that
filing some sort of
as an
complaint
HR
should be in the
personnel?
employee handbook. But if you do not have time to read it, don't want to read it, you go to anyone in a leadership position. I tell people that all the time. There's typically, your director of HR, the HR department, HR managers. Some places, some institutions, or some organizations are small and may not have those dedicated HR people, but if they are receiving any sort of federal funds, there is someone in there that's making sure that compliance is going on because under Title 7 and Title 9, these are gives certain people protections, and especially in educational institutions. And there's typically, if it's not a human resource coordinator, one of my roles, so it could you Title 9 coordinator, human resource coordinator, a compliance officer, or a resource officer. Any of those people would be able to help you file any sort of complaint. But anyone in a leadership position that's leading people, you should be able to go to him or her and file any complaint or find out what you need. Mhm. It's all, and something else that I want to say, typically is sometimes in small organizations when there's no HR, then oh,
Yes.
okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, because I was just trying
Yeah.
to think, should I just take off the
Oh,
microphone? But I'll
I
see
think
if it happens again.
Andrea, you're cutting
Maybe I'll
out.
just take the microphone off. But in small organizations, typically there is a office
There you
manager.
go.
The person that
Yeah,
would
you
you would go
paused
to
for
is
a
like I
while, but
have
you're
a
good
title
now.
of an office manager or something that's in the payroll department. Trust me, whoever is
But you were
managing
saying that
payroll
for small
typically has
organizations
something to
that
do
don't
with
have an HR
compliance.
department, and that after that
So
you
I
kind of
would
cut
say in
out.
a small organization, look for that office manager, or that, payroll coordinator. Or so someone in those offices
Okay.
can also direct you. But in small organizations, it's typically an office manager if it's no dedicated HR manager, director.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Ooh. Okay, you're good.
no, I just want
Okay,
to
and
make
just
sure
in
that you
case you
guys
all
can
didn't
hear
hear
me.
that, if you are in a
Since
company
I see you going in
that
and out.
is,
Okay.
might be a
Right.
startup, might be small, there's not really an HR department yet. You have an office manager, someone who might be, has their hands in payroll, that are doing payroll, that you could go to, when you feel like you're being discriminated against.
All
All
right.
right, Melissa, I'm gonna hand it to you.
And that,
You're over here to you.
go ahead. Were you saying something, Andrea? Good.
Yeah, you can
But
Absolutely.
do
that actually kind of
Absolutely.
went
It's the
into our
same
next
people. And
question
like I said, it
because
doesn't
we wanted
matter
to know
if
when
it's
someone
in
is
an
faced
educational
with an
institution
incident like hair
or in an
discrimination at work or at
organization, they
school,
usually have
what
the
are the best
title
steps
of,
of
like I
action to
said, resource
ensure that their
coordinator,
rights are
human resource
preserved and
coordinator,
also
a
documented?
compliance
So you kind of
officer,
touched on already
title
about if
line,
you're in a smaller
or,
company or if
something
you're
of
in a
that
larger
sort. Those are the
company,
people that,
the
like
type of
you would
people
reach out
or
to.
forms
Or
of
as I
leadership
said,
titles that
you
we should
reach out to
seek.
whoever you
So would that
believe
be the
is
same
going to
also as far
get
as when it
you,
comes to an
the
act of
answers that you
discrimination?
seek. And if there are processes in place, there will be, a way that everything is documented. Like there should be a process for follow up. If I come in to make a complaint, if someone is going to follow up with me, they're going to let me know, okay, this is what the next steps are. And once again, those steps are usually outlined in the student as well as employee handbooks. But if not, you go to a person, and a person will be able to tell you that. And no matter what someone tells me, I'm still going to do my own follow up after I meet with anyone. I send an email or text or something, any sort of documentation that could say that we, had some sort of connection. We had a conversation, and now I'm doing some sort of follow up to see what's the next step. So if there's proper, procedures in place, follow up, should not have to seek anyone out, because I said, if it's in an educational institution and they're getting funds, there are I know, especially, in the institution that I work for, you know, there were processes in place, and, you have to know who those people are and what the resources are. So, I know it takes so much to read these employee handbooks and student handbooks, but if you don't read nothing else, look to see if I need to file a complaint. Let me see who the first person I'm going to go to. So if nothing else, know, that
Mhm.
information. Oh,
Right. Yes, yes. And that kind of gets into our next question. Well, you kind of answered the next question, but I have one that I thought of. There was an incident. There was an incident, and let me know if you all remember this. It was three black girls. They were attending a private school. And I guess the private school within their handbook or their code of, dressing or whatever indicated
No,
that I guess
person's
braids
hair
and I guess
has,
colors added to braids of
my hair
unnatural
does not
hair could
affect
not be
if
done.
I,
And if it is
can you
done,
hear me?
you could get suspended.
Yeah,
So
earlier you guys
obviously,
asked if,
the
I
dress
face,
code was
any sort
not
of
inclusive to
discrimination.
people of
No,
different
because like I said, the
cultures. I
companies
mean,
that
I
I've
understand
worked
the colors,
for,
but
there were
when you're
policies
saying
in place
braids,
that said,
that's
I
again, that's a
created
lot
the
of cultures that
policy.
you're saying that
And,
cannot come
I
in,
knew as
with
long as your
that type
hair
of
was neat,
hairstyle.
you had people with
So
braids,
it was like a
dreads,
whole
stuff that I didn't
news
even know. And
report
me,
about
I'm the
it,
type of
and they
person,
all three of them ended up
I
getting
could never tell
suspended, and they
someone
were like
what to
in
do with
middle
their
school. Do
hair
you all remember this at
because
all? I forget
I
where
said
this
one week my
was.
hair was
Do y'all
purple.
remember?
The next week it was so and so. One day it was long, it was short. So, but that's what, it's a part of a person's,
Oh,
expression.
you froze,
And
Andrew.
the only time that I usually got some sort of flack
Yeah, we
or
can hear you. Go
got
ahead.
looks, but people, they do not to say anything because you can probably tell I'm not having it. At conferences, I used to always get, you don't look like the typical HR director. And I would always ask, and what does a
Mm.
typical HR director look like? And, I knew what you were saying because my hair, the best way for me, my hair was always fleeked out. So, it was always spiked and colored and whatever. And I know it looks, I don't want to look like everyone else. That's one of the things I love about my crown is I'm able to do it so many different things and, you know, change it up whenever I
Right.
want to. So, but it comes down to a person's or an organization to me that we have a policy that will prevent me from being who I am, looking the way that I am. That's not an organization where I would want to work or I would want to be a part of. Because we're all individuals.
Right.
We all have our individual ways of wanting to express ourselves and look in a certain way. And who is someone else to tell me, as long as I don't got bugs and all this craziness coming out of my head, it's not going to affect my ability. It sure didn't affect my ability, to make sure you get benefits or anything like that. So, like I said, if the right people are in place, you shouldn't have to worry about things like that in a workplace. If the right people in power.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, you use your voice. If you speak it, if you feel, and I
Right.
always, and we see it now going
Right.
on right
But in
now
this
with the Black Lives
situation,
Movement,
they ended up getting
with everything that
suspended.
happened with,
And
like
then
George Floyd,
the
may he rest in peace.
pushback they were getting from a
It's
lot
the
of people,
youth
who
that
were
are out
watching this
there
entire
right
story
now
was,
and
well, you knew
realizing,
when
okay, if I
enrolled the
see
child
things that are
within this
not
specific
right, you're
school
telling me
that they
that,
couldn't have
one
these
thing, but you're
hairstyles. So
saying
you can't
another.
be
You
mad that
can
they were
always change,
suspended.
you can always
So I guess
challenge
my
the
question
status
is,
quo.
when
And like I
those
said, I
rules are put
always
in
tell
place in a
people,
scholastic
I
setting,
tell
like a
people,
private middle
if
school or
one
whatever,
person is not going to get
is
you the
there a process
information,
we
you're going
can
to
go to
go
kind of
to
amend
the
it,
next person,
to
even
kind of
if
like
that
show
person
that this is
is
not
not
inclusive
within
to
your
people of different
organization. I always
cultures?
tell people,
Is there a process we
there's
can
the
do for that at
local,
all?
EEOC and other social and is
Mm-hmm.
not providing you with those things. There's so many organizations out there that will help you and support you because there are,
Right.
cases where you'll run into, situations like that. But there's always someone that's willing to fight for you. But those, it's like I said, just knowing what your rights are, because even like in an employee in a student handbook, it should always direct you. Also, there should be some information in there regarding those other outside organizations that you could reach out to if you feel that you're not getting the justice that you want, within, an organization or educational institution.
Ooh.
The equal employment, um, equal employment, it's Opportunity Commission. I can't think of what the acronym is, but you can go to them. You have a certain amount of time. If you wanted to file some sort of complaint, if you feel that's usually like the first place people go when they leave their employer. They go to the EEOC, their local EEOC, and see if they're, can file charges because their rights were violated, whether it was, for discriminatory, for hair, for race, or for
Yes,
age,
yes,
for
yes. And
any
before I pass it to
sort
you,
of
Marissa,
reason. Like
you said something
every,
really important here.
state has their
EEOC. Can you
EOCs
kind of
and
explain what that is to people
different
who don't know?
other different agencies that you can go to. Like I always say, know in your state what's the laws and the places that you can go for a resource. And that's definitely, yeah. Yeah, because there's different laws and protection at the city, state, and federal level. And sometimes at the local level, the protections that are in place are
Oh, you're
more
cutting out
intense or
some.
more, to me, more
There you go.
protective than at the federal. So that's why it's important to know at every level, what are my rights? Well, now, what you said, could you cut out? Wait, did you say you pitched a tent? Because that's what it
Yeah,
sounded
that's
like when I
important
was.
too because it's going to vary
It,
from state to state depending on what regulations are.
mhm.
Hmm. Oh, and I also wanted to chime in while we were also on this topic when it comes to employers. I was working at a retail location part time, just so I
Mhm.
can like have some ka-ching on the side to go shopping and get discounts. And they also had this policy. No, I said I'm a part
Mhm.
time employer in retail, just so I can have some money in my in my pocket, like ka-ching ka-ching. And they also had some a policy set in place where they were
Offline, I want to
saying
know who
that
this
you couldn't
company
really
is.
have any facial piercings and your hair color had to be a natural color. So you couldn't do any of the funky like purples and all that fun stuff. So me being a hairstylist, like, and this is just like my little side gig, it's kind of like I kind of like had to walk in hesitation because I do color my hair and I'm typically been rocking more like the blonde color lately. But then it's like, well, man, if I wanted to do like a pastel purple, like, are they really going to say something? So over time, a lot of the things started to change within the company because when I first started there, you could see
I
as far as
love.
like body sizing, their jeans stopped at a certain size, but over time they went all the way up to like more plus
No,
sizings
you're supposed to
in
be
their denim. So
expressive, but like
it
I said, I
started
want
to
to know
become more
who
inclusive.
that
And then
retailer
the policy
is.
with the
Just
hair colors also
curious,
changed. So you can kind of
about
see
it.
like
But
from the
you
company
know,
and like
at some point, people have to see. Things do
and it
start
was
to
like
change. Organizations, I can see
so
now
and then the
this
models also
started.
started to be more
I
curvier. So
think
they
the
started to
Crown Act,
include
and
more
with
different body
the
types.
winning
And
of
a lot of the
the
models were
Oscar, the
like wearing
Tony,
tattoos and stuff like that
the
too. So it was kind of like, okay, I
whatever
started
that
to see
award
things change. So
with
they
the
weren't
It's the
as like
opposite,
strict
where
about,
he
okay, you
mentioned the
can only
Crown
wear
Act.
natural hair
People
color.
are starting to
So I
realize that
remember
natural
hearing
hair,
that, and it was
what's
almost like a
up?
sigh of relief. Like,
You know,
okay, I don't have to wash
it's
my
a
back as much.
part
So
of
then
who
I got
we
these
are.
box
It's a
braids
part
in, and
of,
when I tell you I had
especially
like
Black people,
mermaid
it's a part
colors,
of
they
our
were like
heritage.
pastel pink,
At some
purple,
point, no matter how
turquoise,
much we
all
try to
these different colors,
straighten
and
it
I
or
was like,
whatever,
oh yeah,
our
I'm going
crown is
all the
going
way in
to get a
now.
little crinkly once those ends and stuff start growing in. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's, that's what people, to me, typically you know, the discrimination that people that I know of face, it was usually with dreads. And, when dreads start to grow out, sometimes it's not all that, smooth, but as long as it's, neat, that doesn't affect a person's ability to do their job, unless you like a fry cook or something like that, where your hair could get it. But to me, there shouldn't be, I believe all 50 states or, need to adopt this policy. I know that there are about seven now, and there are some who tried it. They put the bill through, but it didn't get passed. It's a shame because, as a ability to do their job unless their hair is in the food. So, can you guys hear me? You see me?
Yeah.
No. So Macy's was, like I said, for the past 12 years, I've been at a private fashion college, and like I said, the first thing that I worked on when I went there 12 years ago was the employee handbook. So I made the policy. So, I have no bad experience. So I created the policy. Like I said, we had people walking around with dreads, braids, everything. Like I said, my hair was a different color every other week. So, as long as everything was, like neat and clean. And I, once a manager, tried to say, say something about, like their employee, not come out and say
Okay.
it
Okay.
because they
So
knew,
yeah,
okay,
we can hear and see you.
I'm going to see a
So
different
the next
Andrea
question
if I
is,
say it. But
how has the Crown Act affected your
it
role
was
as an
never really
HR
an issue
specialist?
because
I know you
it was
kind of
the
went into with
policy. I
Macy's,
made
it
the
was always
policy, and I
inclusive.
know that the
So it
policy
might
was
not have affected
enforced.
it too
So,
much there. Or
we
if you
had
even noticed,
variety.
a
It's like I
change
said, it's
with,
nothing that
updating the HR
I can
guidelines or
personally
handbook or
say
anything when
in
it
the
went into effect.
workplace, like at conferences and things like that. Even like when I went on lobbying on Capitol Hill once, one of the senators, even complimented me on my hair, and I had a mohawk with three different colors on it. I'm lobbying for employee rights, and I have a mohawk. So,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, hair does not affect your ability to do your job.
Mm.
Could you say that? I hear an echo. We all have leadership abilities and capabilities. It's one of the things that I always tell people to do is to be a mentor or get a mentor. That's another way to stay engaged and to be informed. Know what's going on in your neighborhood, know what's going on in your profession. If you're looking to, go further in your profession, stay engaged. You're not going
All
to
right, so let's
learn
see.
anything
So,
by
Yes.
Andrea,
staying in a
with you being a
shell or just
leadership
being by
strategist, could
yourself.
you give
You
us some
have to
advice
seek
on
the
being
knowledge
being a
that you
leader within
want,
our communities
something you can't
or
be
wherever
afraid to
we
go
are.
after it. And you have to, ask for help when necessary. Nobody's able to do everything,
Okay, hold
by
on.
themselves. So, if you want to
So,
be a
with you
leader,
having
surround
experience in
yourself with,
being a leadership
the people that
strategist,
you
could
want
you
to
give us
see, the
some
people that
advice
you
on
want to
how we
be.
can
You
be
know,
leaders
I
within
was
our
just
own
recently
communities
like
or
saying
wherever we are?
something to my niece. She's like 15, and for the past 3 months, they've been not being able to hang out with her friends. And, sometimes people start to change and you start to see things different. I said, people come in your life for a reason or a season. I said, during this COVID, you see that maybe it's time to, maybe develop new friendships because, things are different now. You have to start thinking outside of, and I hate the expression of the box, but, think beyond of what you see, look at what you want and surround yourself with people and things of what you're trying to attain. And those are like leadership capabilities. Like I've learned everything that I have, you know, through education, but it's also through, like asking for mentoring. And one of the things that I love to do is mentoring, coaching other people as well. But I still have mentors that I meet with. Like I have one mentor when I have a stand-in appointment with on every Monday at 8 o'clock. So it's knowing where to go and how to tap into the resources that we already have because we all have leadership capabilities. Sometimes we just need someone else to, help us identify whatever it is that we're looking for. Hmm. Yeah, that's why I have the air conditioner on. Anything above 70, I'm gonna have the air conditioner on. Like I am not one of those people. Like I do not like hot weather. Oh, and one of the main reasons it was because of my hair. It would make my hair fall. But now with this natural, it could curl up and twist and do whatever it wants. But no, now Reagan, I can't see you. Can you see me? Okay. Yeah, Reagan, you're gray. But I can see
Yes,
myself
that was a
finally.
great answer. And with that, we're going to go ahead and open our Q&A session. Again, we have Jasmine in the chat. Sometimes scrolling through the questions are hard. So she's going to send us all the questions that we might not,
Well,
get to
let me tell
receive.
you,
So
believe
go
it or
ahead and
not,
throw your questions right into the
it
chat and,
sometimes it
we'll
just
get to
happens.
answering them.
I did not end up in HR because I wanted to be an HR person.
Yes, I
Most
know.
people probably
It's hard
guessed
outside
that
today
I was
too. So
into
how you
fashion.
have to
Everything
zoom
that I've
this?
ever done has been in the fashion or related industries. Um, Macy's, going back to Macy's, I started out as an assistant buyer. We had about maybe at that time it was maybe about 300 assistant associate buyers or so. And whenever someone had a question, they would be afraid to go to human resources. So I sort of became the liaison, and I was always like, "What are you talking about? That's why they're there."
I
So
almost
I would
love
ask
this
the
one, I feel
question,
like.
and then the human resources department created a position for a human resource coordinator. Told me to,
Yeah, I can see it.
apply for the position, and I did. So I should have been like a VP, a
No.
fashion director, or something like that's what I wanted.
That's
But
good.
you just have to,
Okay. Looks like we got a
recognize the
question.
signs. Like
How can
people would
someone
say,
with
you're a
leadership
people
abilities
person. No,
transition
I'm just
from
not
their
afraid to
current
say what
role
I
into
say. And
HR? And that's
that's,
from Michael.
important in HR. You have to have a back. But I never thought that I would end up in HR. I didn't know what human resources was. I just knew it was this place that everybody was afraid to go. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That's why they up there. And they got our checks, so we should be able to ask them whatever we want. To me, that's just like, when you're in a
Mhm.
relationship, you're supposed to be able to ask whatever you want. So it's if you really want to transition to something, it's once again, it's networking, knowing people in those fields of what you want to do and seeing if they can help to mentor you and to guide you. But there's so much information out there. But if you don't want to be in some place, and Michael, that's a fabulous question because if you really do not want to be in some place or you think it's time to transition to something new, I would tell you to seek it, to go after it, because once you realize that, it's time for something new, you already passed the
Right.
first step. Now you're just looking for the resources. So always go beyond of, you know, what you think you can transition to any role. That's how leaders are made. You see, sometimes people start out in, the mail room that become CEOs of these Fortune 500, organizations because, you can transition if you have the opportunities, within an organization of, being able to move up. You answered that perfectly, Reagan. That's perfect. That's exactly what I would have said. So love it.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, you are thorough, Andrea. You are
I don't
thorough.
let
I think you
anything
conquered
brush off.
Jasmine's question
If
too.
if
Her question was, what
if
would you say to
if
someone who
you
is nervous or
say
hesitant about
something
reaching
to
out to
me,
their
if
HR
you
for
offend me in
assistance
any way, shape,
or
or
uncomfortable
form, as I
topics?
said, I'm
And
a
basically,
wordsmith.
you
I
might
can
be
tell
able to
you how
find
to
someone
say
that was like
anything
Andrea,
to anybody,
basically that
and
person that
I can
is
have a
able to talk
conversation
to the
with you.
HR
And
without hesitation.
pardon me, everyone on
Someone who
this,
kind of bridges between
chatting on
that,
this webinar,
HR person
but
and you.
I know
Another
how to
thing
tell you
too,
go F yourself
a lot
without
of
saying those words. You walk
employees
away
might feel
saying,
hesitant when
Andrea
they're
just
with their
told me to go
company
F myself.
because
She
it
doesn't, she
becomes
didn't
that
say
whole
that,
like
but there's
gaslighting
always a
theory. Like
way
it's
in
kind of
which you
like,
can
oh yeah,
communicate,
like I
your
commented on here, but
thoughts,
it was a joke though. Like I
depending
didn't
on
really
your
mean it like that.
environment
So
and
even if
where
it
you
makes
are. And
you feel
sometimes
uncomfortable
people,
or in
may take
yourself, it's
you
not
to a point
settling
where
well
you
with
have to
you,
go
then you
out of
need
your
to go
character.
ask somebody,
Hopefully,
tell somebody like,
most
hey,
people will never have
so
to
and
go
so
that, but
commented,
sometimes
made a
people
comment,
will
and I
push
wasn't
you.
really feeling it, and
But
I ain't appreciate
you
it. So
never let anyone just
sometimes
speak to you
you can
any
kind of
way,
like
shape,
brush
or
it off
form.
as if it's nothing,
Absolutely
but
not. You have a
internally, if
voice, you
it's not
better
sitting well with
speak up
you, then
because
you should
there's, like
speak
I
up
said, there's
about it.
always someone that will have your back. People did not call me because I can tell you how to do it or how to say anything to anybody. But speak up.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. You can email, face to face, whatever. You can always clap back. Those professional clapbacks be, it just and they sting too. If they're done very eloquently, they sting. But you know, speak up. Don't let anyone speak to you in any way, shape, or form. I don't care what position they're in. Everyone deserves respect in an organization or an institution. We all bleed the same color red blood. So, we all have the same rights, all rights, and if anyone that treats people differently because of, their status or their hair or the way that they
Mhm.
look, I love to find out who those people are in organizations because, you know, one of my things is educating people. I love educating people on, what they need to know
Mhm.
or what their rights are or, just rights in general. But don't
Yes.
forget to have a voice. That's why God
What did
gave
they
us a
say? The
mouth.
email
And
clapbacks?
some of us have
From
bigger
my
ones than others,
email.
but for you.
Mhm. They do. Mhm.
Y'all sign the petition because y'all know, especially in these different states, we should all be able to wear our hair the way that we want. Because as I said, your hair should
Yeah,
not affect your ability to do your job. It really shouldn't, unless it's like I said in a food service industry. But
that's
other than
true.
that,
That's true.
you
Yes.
better have a
I
voice.
agree with
Speak up.
everything, and we appreciate you and all of your knowledge and wisdom, Andrea. We also wanted to take this time to make a call
I
to
like
action
that.
for
Thank
everybody
you,
that joins us this
Jasmine.
evening. So, what can you do to push your state to pass the Crown Act? And below in this other window, if you didn't notice, we've been showing you the Crown Coalition, which is the official campaign for the Crown Act. And this is the top, but if you scroll down to click here, you can actually sign the petition. And let me go ahead and link it in here. Mm-hmm.
Easy template.
Yep, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yep. And we have,
Yep.
yes, Jasmine also put the link into the chat for us. So to help us, thanks,
Mhm. Yep.
Jazz.
Jasmine is
Help us
putting
to end
in
hair
the chat too.
discrimination in the
Go ahead,
workplace
Marissa. I'm
and
sorry.
schools. And then another great resource would be Dove. They also are one of the sponsors for the Crown Coalition. And there is a portion on their site. You can also sign the petition from there, or you can scroll to the bottom and it gives you an option to download a letter. And then you can send this letter to your legislature in your state, which is a cool thing because it kind of
Yeah.
has everything already prompted in there for you. And you just need to add your name, the name of your senator, and all of the information. But everything else is there. Yep. Easy peasy, complete.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mhm.
Dove has really been at the forefront of the Crown Act. So the simple fact that you can go to the website and get a template, that's even a step further than the petition. So if you could do both, we would definitely appreciate it. And then I'm just going to remind you all the giveaways that we have for you. We have a little bit more than just the products. I know we didn't open discussing this, but now that we're close to the end, it's time to talk about what we as a
Absolutely.
collective have
So
for you for
everyone
coming
that
today, but
participated
also what each
today,
of us
you
individually
can
as,
get
business owners
three
have for you
free
today.
coaching
So
sessions from
one,
me.
I myself am a
And
business
that
stylist,
offer
and for
is
everyone who
extended
participated today, you will
until
have access to my
June
free styling guide.
13th.
You will receive
If
that
you
shortly.
want three free
And it's
Yes.
just,
coaching
So
sessions,
I
we
the
am
can,
a
compiled
natural hair
information
speak
of
about
professional.
everything that
So
you
anything
need
that
to
you
do on
everybody
the
want.
that joins
basics
us
We'll
for
set
the
up a
of general
webinar, you
time.
have
styling.
access
And
to
Marissa,
if
do
we
you want
want
to
to go
a
discuss
further
free
from there,
what you
we'll
have
virtual
for
hair
them?
definitely
care
do so.
consultation
But
with me, done
make
through
sure just
video.
I
So we
just
can
want
just
you
kind of
guys to
go
make sure
over
that you know
your
what your
hair care
rights are
history. If you
and to
had
know how
any
to use your
issues or some
voice,
things that you want to
especially in
overcome
a
or you want to learn
corporate
more
or
about.
educational
So
environment
that way we
because
can
you
take the
do have
time to talk
rights
about
and
that,
just
or
know what
even
they
go
are.
over some of the products that you currently have in your beauty cabinet. You can kind of touch on what's been working, what hasn't been working, and we can kind of have a better understanding of why or what you may need to change as well. But it's available to you and it's free virtual consultation.
Yes. Andrea, you want to show them or tell them what you got for them as well?
That is true.
Yes, yes, yes. And just one more time, Marissa, the products that they are in the line. To
You
win
said
for a
talk
free
about the
giveaway
products.
for
I didn't hear
attending
you.
all
It went
three
out a bit.
webinar sessions. There will be one more after this in July. Do you
So
still
what
have
we
them
have
beside you,
here,
Marissa? Just throw up real quick.
yes, we have Eden Body Works. We have the almond marshmallow hydration serum as well as the therapy
Maybe
leave-in
you can show
treatment. So
them,
you have a nice
what we
little
got for them
duo
again. Just a
to get your
reminder.
hair some hydration as well as seal with
Go
the
ahead.
hydrating serum. We also have the hibiscus and honey line by Eden Body Works. This is the curl hydration conditioner, and it also comes with the leave-in mask. It's in a bubble wrap. I don't want to show you it. The presentation isn't at its best. And you also have a repair mask by the almond and marshmallow line, as well as a edge controlled cream as well. So yeah, all of these great, amazing goods to keep you on your hair care journey and on track to healthy hair.
Throw those side hustles in there because those hot side hustles turn
Yes, perfect.
into,
Thank you so much.
real
And before we
opportunities.
let you all
So if that's
go,
how you're
we just
making
kind of
your
want to
money,
discuss the
put it out
importance of
there.
supporting
That's
Black-owned
how everything
businesses. Just
starts,
like
as a
Andrea
side
said
hustle.
earlier, with everything going on with George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, the list continues. Honestly, the importance of supporting Black-owned businesses is more important now than ever. I truly believe that when we as Black people have more control over our lives and more control of what we consume and everything within our house, we can keep everything within the community,
And Lanisha
then
is
we will have more
fabulous.
power, to
She's
say and to
fabulous.
discuss and to evoke change. So aside from us discussing, what we do as entrepreneurs and what we can, do for the community. We also want you all to take this time to, just put in the chat, who are you? Do you have a business? What do you do? Or if you're just, you work for a company, if you're a part-time, what your position is with them, what you just offer, to everyone here today. You just take the time to
Yeah.
throw that in the chat real quick before we let everyone go.
Mm-hmm.
Andrea Granville, on Instagram is
Yes,
Andrea L.
please,
Granville MBA, and you can always definitely
Amazing.
go to
please,
my,
please,
Stuck in
website,
please.
that. I always needed a
pearlsfabulous.com.
tutor.
You can see, I'm also a
Oh, we have a
speaker.
college
I speak
math
on my
professor,
life experiences.
Thomas,
I'm
tutor on.
a survivor of
Yes.
9/11.
Mm-hmm.
I also speak
Nice.
on my mom being sick and being an advocate for her. And in 2011, my sister was
I
murdered,
maybe got
and
through
I'm
about it
now
too.
raising her kids. So I speak
Jasmine.
on from adversity to resilience, to young people and
Yes.
organizations.
Jasmine, legal
I'm also a
secretary,
certified
administrative professional, and yes,
image
she is my sister.
consultant as well, and I'm
Great supporter of
certified in
everything.
mental health
Oh, and
first
while we're
aid
waiting for
training.
everyone else to throw
So
every,
that's why it's
what
a
you do and
lifestyle,
everything
because
in the
I
chat,
kind of sort of
just
do
how
a
to
little
connect
bit
with
of
us
it
beyond
all.
today's
So, but
platform. Again, my name is Reagan.
pearlsfabulous.com.
I'm a
Make sure
business
you guys
stylist.
stop
My
by to
website is
see,
C-Suite
if
Styling,
I
and
could
that's
be of support to you. But don't
CSUITE
forget, you
styling.com.
can get
And you
those
can
three
find me on
free,
Instagram, on Facebook
sessions,
at C-Suite
if,
Styling as
you're in
well.
contact by the
Anybody can follow
13th.
up after that.
You know, let's chat. Let me tell you how to tell somebody something.
Mm, 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 mm,
Be a wordsmith. Teach us how to be more of a wordsmith,
See?
Andrea. Yeah.
See, don't forget
And
those
once again,
side
everybody,
things.
I am
Those are the ones that
Marissa,
can be so
natural hair
profitable.
professional, Philly curly and texture nerd. You can
We're
find
doing a
me
quick
at
little
Organic Locks
session.
on Instagram as well as organiclocks.com. Yeah, and I'll be in contact with you, everybody that joined us today, and we'll be able to follow up if you're interested in a virtual hair care consultation. But I'm gonna head back to the comments because we have Fatima who dropped her business. She is event and PR professional, and her business is Indie Soul Glow. At Indie Soul Glow, you can follow her on Instagram. This is one of my lovely friends. I attend all of her events, and you always leave them feeling enlightened and empowered. So make sure you check out the girl too.
It was
We
my
also have
pleasure.
Scarlett in the
Absolutely,
building. She's a full-time
anytime. It
hairstylist
was
at American
wonderful,
Mortals, located in
sharing
Queens
information with
Village.
you guys.
And she's
Knowledge
also a
is
server on the
power,
side.
everybody.
Hey,
Knowledge is
industry night.
power.
Hopefully we can get some drinks.
Mm.
Yeah.
Stay
We also
fabulous,
have
y'all, and
Jillian
be
Smith,
safe.
my other lovely hairstylist friend. She's also a professional hair colorist. You can find more of her work at jilliansmithhair.com. And we have Daniela, Danny from Career Gang, an online boutique for professional women. Ooh. Ooh. That Career Gang. Okay, let me make sure I put that in my Instagram now.
It was popping. I've been on stage several times. Absolutely popping.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, you all. So we have reached the end, and let's give a big round of applause first to Andrea L. Granville for being our guest for today.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. And we hope you all have a great afternoon. Thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for part 3. Bye. Yes.